What's up, Army? It's Jackie, also known as Jackie in the Soup, and welcome to Talk Bangtan to Me, a podcast all about BTS for Army. Whether you're a seasoned Army or just discovering the magic of Bangtan, this podcast is a space to celebrate the music, the moments, and the incredible impact BTS has on our lives. I'll be diving into the world of fandom, chatting with fellow Army, and sharing all the reasons why we love these 7 normal boys from Korea. So come into my own little magic shop and talk Bangtan to me. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. We are continuing our member series, and once again, I polled on Instagram who you wanted to talk about next, and Jin won by a lot. And it ended up being perfect because this man dropped 2 major bombs on the fandom in this past week, one being a new 7-track album, and the other being a Run Seokjin tour. Oh my gosh, we got to get into that. I gotta say, I was apprehensive and a little nervous about doing this episode about Jin, just because out of all 7 members, he is the one I feel like I know the least. I think he is incredibly genuine as a person, but I still feel like he holds a lot back, and there's so much of him that is a mystery to me. But first, a little background on him. He is known as the vocalist and the visual of BTS. And when I was new to K-pop, I heard the word visual and I'm like, what is that? So the visual in the group is the one that is considered the most good looking according to Korean beauty standards. Now, all of the members of BTS are good looking, and we all have different biases that maybe we think is the best looking. But in terms of facial structure and proportions and all of that, he is known as the visual. He was recruited by Big Hit in 2011 when he was walking to university. He was just scouted off the street simply because he was so good looking. He did not audition for the group or anything like that. He was scouted. He actually was in acting school. So he was granted early admission to 2 of the best acting schools in Korea, and he was majoring in film studies. And looking at him, he has such a K-drama actor face. I could completely see him being an actor. But yeah, so unlike Namjoon, who we talked about on the last episode, he didn't have any musical background in terms of being a songwriter. He wasn't in any underground music scenes. He wasn't trying to make it as an idol at all. So he became a trainee and he debuted, obviously, in 2013 with the group. He is the oldest in the group, but also the biggest kid. We call him the honorary maknae for that reason. And I sometimes wonder what it felt like for him to be the oldest, but he's not the leader. So he very much had leadership qualities. He definitely takes care of the group. They lean on him, they look to him, they respect him, but he's just not that guy that's going to be the representative of the group. He's super introverted. He likes to step back and let the others shine. And I think that that's not a role that he would have wanted to do. I also think about what it must have felt like for him to come into this group. You have this rap line, 3 incredibly talented artists who have been in the scene. Then you have someone like JK, who is just one of those people that is talented and picks up everything quickly and just does well at everything. You have Jimin, who is this trained dancer, just all of these things. And now you're coming into this group with no experience in any of that. It's so impressive to think what he has accomplished in his trainee years and throughout the years of BTS as a group. He jokes all the time that he's not the best dancer and he doesn't pick up on the choreo quickly, which I think is incredibly honest of him to admit that because it is difficult. You look at someone like Jimin who's picking up on the choreo instantly, someone like Hobie, naturally gifted as a dancer. And then coming into it with no experience, it's got to be so hard. I can't believe some of their choreo. So for someone who's not a dancer to pick up on, that's really impressive. Also, his vocals. Who knew he had those vocals? He's got a beautiful voice that has a really big range, actually. His range is so wide, probably the biggest range in the group other than JK. And that was something he trained himself to utilize and continues to perfect. So it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. He's had three, I guess, singles, you can say. So, not including the songs that he released with BTS, like Epiphany and whatnot, but he's had three singles of his own prior to his solo release, Happy. So, he had Tonight, Abyss, and Super Tuna. So I feel like Jin tends to stick to songs that have kind of soaring melodies, ballad type songs where he's sustaining long notes. And then there's Super Tuna, which was like a joke, really. And it's just funny that the fandom took that to the top and he was embarrassed by it. Like, oh my gosh, why are you charting this song? Please don't do that. It was just so funny. So we've come to know Jin for these ballads, and some people love them. I mean, I know people that Epiphany is like their Roman Empire. Like that's their number one song. For me personally, I always struggled. I've never really been into ballads unless it's like a 90s Celine Dion ballad, but I'm not particularly into Jin's ballad type songs, but that's okay. We all have our preferences, right? He continued those types of tracks when he would do original soundtracks. He's had some original soundtrack songs out there too for K dramas. Again, lots of these ballad type songs. So, for me personally, the first single he kind of put out as a solo artist in my eyes was The Astronaut because it was a song that had promotions, it had merch, it had a hard copy of an album being sold, music video, all of those things. And of course, we know that that was his collab with Coldplay. Well, the song was a gift from Coldplay. And the Chris Martin and Jin friendship is the most precious thing in the world. To me, Chris Martin is one of the most genuine, elite human beings. He's one of those rare people. And the fact that he took to Jin and Jin took to him just shows how genuine of a person Jin is too and how good of a person. It's just two good people that clicked. So he gifted Jin that song, and that was extremely emotional. And we'll go back to that because I do want to talk about him being the very first to enlist in the military and all of that. So that was special. And then we had Happy after his release. Happy was refreshing to me. I went into Happy not really expecting to like it. I'm just going to be honest, just based on my history with Jin. I thought going into it, it was going to be a lot of what he's used to doing. And I think it's interesting how some members are trying new things and some members are sticking to what they're good at. It's like their own preference on what they wanted to debut with. So Happy, he did try some new things. There were some really sweet songs on there. There was that ballad, that I Will Come to You song that he wrote while in the military that is just precious. But then the other songs have all these different styles within it. And I like that he's experimenting to see what he's good at. But I liked it. I mean, I liked it. I wouldn't say it's my favorite of all the solo releases. I would say it's like kind of with Layover. Like Layover is not my preference either. So those two for me are just not my thing. But it definitely helped me see Jin in a new light and see some of the abilities he has with his vocals. If I'm being completely honest, with the Happy release, he didn't seem totally comfortable. And that makes sense, right? Like he was the first member to go into the military, first one to come out and jump into doing an album. When he did his Happy showcase, the little fan meet he did, he definitely warmed up on the second day, but going into it, you can tell it was just he was trying to feel his way through it again. He was trying to get comfortable on the stage. But as he was reunited with Army, we were cheering him on. He loosened up. Like it was also different for us too, because it was our first time seeing a post-military BTS member and seeing them after the military and if it's impacted them positively and are they the same or are they different, this and that. Now we've seen that they are kind of coming out evolved. They're like evolved men, which is incredible that that can happen in such a short amount of time. In 18 months they can do so much growing. But I digress. He did well with Happy. The performances were solid, but again, I didn't really feel like he gave us everything. I think that's coming with Echo. Now, Echo was the bomb dropped on the fandom that I never saw coming for a second. I would have put money on the fact that he was not going to release another album. Just because, again, what I've always known to be true about Jin is that he is introverted. He likes to play video games. He likes to just do his own thing and be under the radar. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight without the members. Those are the things I knew about him. So I thought he did happy. He checked the box, did happy. He was proud of it. We were happy with it. Army was happy. And then he can just go back to chilling. He can go back to doing run gin and maybe doing commercials or appearances on little shows. And then he can just wait it out for these couple months until the group is all together again. But the album announcement came with him looking fine as ever with a black leather jacket, forehead showing, just like a different look for him. Because Happy, he's wearing these like casual, playful outfits, but then he shows up looking like this rock star. And that look is so good on him. It's so good on him. But I feel like with Echo, this is when he's really going to show us what he's got. He's going to show us what he's been holding back. You can see that just in these clips that are coming out since Echo. At this point that I'm recording this, we have seen the tour and album look, and we've seen him perform with Coldplay and do My Universe and the Astronaut on Coldplay's stage in Seoul. And just from that alone, I can tell that he's about to show us something that we never saw coming. And we're going to see him in a completely different light. When he was on stage with Chris, I can't stop watching clips of it because he is carrying himself differently. He's walking differently. His facial expressions look different. I can't put my finger on what it is. There's no way that just 18 months in the military is going to do that much to a person. It makes me think that maybe this mold of being a K-pop idol was not natural to him and was very hard for him to front. And now he's kind of just being his genuine self. Maybe this like rocker, relaxed, chill vibe is actually who he is. But there wasn't really a place for that in BTS. You know what I mean? That's one of my theories. My other theory is that he got some coaching. Now, this might just be my opinion, but I think that K-pop idols, when they're trainees, get coaching on how to exude sex appeal, how to engage with the crowd with your eyes, your lips, your body rolls, how to move. I think they are taught that. And some pick it up really quickly and it comes very, very natural for them to be sexy. And others, it's more forced. Now, Jin, I always felt like it was not natural for him. He is that beautiful, stoic face. But when it comes down to like the Jimin-esque and Tay type sultry stage presence, it just didn't come as natural for him. He could pull it off just fine, but I think he had to work at that. He had to learn how to work with what he's got and work with that face of his. So I wonder if he worked on some of that stuff, because I might get dragged for saying this, but I think at times he looks a little awkward and out of place doing those things because it's just not him. And I would probably be the same way. I would probably be the same way if I was told to go on stage and act sexy. Like, what? I would be so awkward. So I get it. I completely get it. Regardless, I'm happy to see it. I'm so happy to see it. I like this side of him. I hope he embraces it. We haven't even seen the full picture yet, but I can just tell. I could feel it that this is what it's going to be like. So the album's going to come out, 7 tracks. I don't know when he recorded those 7 tracks. Clearly, all this time that I thought he was playing video games, he was recording. I'm looking forward to seeing. They sound like they're going to be a rock vibe. And if it's a rock vibe, that is my roots. That's what I love. I love rock. That is what I listened to before I found BTS. I would love to see this side of him. So, it's all fine and dandy. I'm like, sweet, we have this album. Looks like the vibe is going to be great. The fandom's loving it. And then boom, he drops a tour. On a random Thursday morning, we get a tour announcement. I was out with my kids at a trampoline park for my son's birthday, and I see a Weverse announcement, and I'm like, oh, what's this? Someone's replying to someone on Weverse or something silly, and it's a freaking tour announcement. I could not believe what I was seeing. I was like, "What?" I got on an Instagram Live immediately and had to process this with people. I was shocked because of the same reason I was shocked he put another album out. I just didn't think he was gonna do that prior to comeback. And also, I'm sitting here thinking, does he have enough music for a tour? He doesn't have this vast catalog of music, but this seems like he's gonna be doing some type of muster thing, this Run Suck Gin EP tour. I don't know what that means yet, but if it's has anything to do with Run Gin, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. It's gonna be some type of, like, variety show fan meet. I would say more like a fan meet with music involved. Maybe just like his Happy Showcase, where he was performing the songs but also interacting. He's gonna take that on the road, and that is something so unique. If that's what he's doing, that's unique. Anytime any members have done something like this, it's been in Korea and it was raffled off for you to go, something like that. But for this to be a tour built around that type of format, so cool. I'm so excited. And the cities are some different cities that we haven't gone to. And Europe is finally getting a chance, and Florida is finally getting a chance. It's an interesting assortment of cities. I'm here for it. This is also the first time there's going to be a tour going on that all of the members are going to be discharged. When Yoongi toured, members were enlisted. J-Hope toured, members were enlisted. But when Jin embarks on that tour, all of the members are going to be discharged. So I can't wait to see how they cheer him on, if they go to some concerts, if he invites them on stage for anything. I can see that happening. I can see there being a segment where he brings members on stage. Maybe the Korea dates. I just think it's going to be fun. And even though I was so excited about OT7, like it was OT7, OT7, couldn't wait for that. I just have the impression it's going to be a fun tour that helps us pass the time while the other guys are behind the scenes working really hard for their comeback. And it's going to be a nice summer distraction. Now, the question is, are any other members going to also tour this year? Now, there was a big rumor about JK touring in 2025. I shut it down in my mind. And I spoke about it on Instagram too. I was like, there's no way. He's not going to do something so close to comeback. He doesn't have enough songs, blah, blah, blah. But then Jin pulls this and it kind of changes everything. It's like, okay, wait, it actually is possible to spit out a 7+ track album and launch a tour in a few months' time. So it's like, technically, JK probably could spit out an album and spin a tour. Do I think it's going to be in 2025? I don't know. I think, again, it may be like a spring 2026 thing, maybe, and then maybe BTS goes on a summer tour. I don't even know what to think. Now that Jin released this tour and album, it's now bringing the possibility alive in my mind that other members could do this. And I think if anybody was gonna do it, it would be JK, because JK is hungry for it, I'm sure, and wants to continue with Golden where he left off. So I'm here for it if he does that, but this is crazy. How are we supposed to manage all of this is my question. How are we supposed to afford all of this? We have jobs and lives and families and responsibilities, and these men are just dropping albums and tours left and right. And it's only going to get worse. I mean, it's only going to get crazier come June. I just got to say, I'm really, really going to embrace this Jin era wholeheartedly. I've shared before, and I've been very open with the fact that Jin was difficult for me. Jin is, if I had to rank them, I hate to rank them, but if I had to rank the members, Jin would be at the bottom in terms of his music, his vibe, his style, everything. It just never clicked with me. And to be honest, it really bothered me because I can wholeheartedly say that the other 6, I love them. I think they're talented. I am in love with their personality and in their solo works. Even Tay, even though I don't love Layover, I still have found things in Tay's works that I love. And I never found that with Jin. I just never found it. I couldn't even say, other than The Astronaut, which obviously I love because I'm a huge Coldplay fan, and that song is very much a Coldplay song. Sounds a lot like Coldplay. Other than that, I have not found a song where I'm like, "I love that song." And I feel like now is going to be my moment. It's gonna be my moment to see Jin in this new way, to find him sexy and confident and attractive and love his music. And that is going to be the best feeling for me, to know that all of them, that I truly love all of their work. I was upfront and honest about my feelings about Jin recently, and I thought I was going to get backlash and hate, but it actually sparked an incredible discussion with so many people pouring into my DMs, not necessarily saying they felt that about Jin, but saying they felt that about another member of the group. They have this member that they just could not connect to. They didn't get it. They couldn't fall in love with the music. They didn't click with the personality. And it's so shocking. I heard someone say that about every single member. I mean, I'll tell you, prior prior to that, I never heard anybody say that about Yoongi in my life. Yoongi is like that safe one that everybody loves. But I had a couple people come into my DMs and say, that's Yoongi for me. I just don't get Yoongi. And that's like mind blowing. It's mind blowing. And JK too, same thing. One that is known as like a pretty safe member, like one that everybody kind of loves. I heard that about JK. So we all have very specific preferences, and we all have that member that we are longing to connect to. For me, that's Jen. And I want to see more of his personality so I could feel like I know him. Like he's not just that laid back, goofy, unserious guy. I mean, that's a part of him. But I know there is like a very serious, mature side of him that he just doesn't show. I think he's going to show us now, though. And whatever he does in this next chapter is going to just be icing on the cake, because we know that he is humble and warm and domestic and a gentleman and a caretaker. Like, we know he's all these things. So now that we know that, and he starts to show us more of this sexy side, more of this bad boy side, it's just gonna be chef's kiss. I can't wait to see it. And I think all the members are gonna be cheering him on so hard too. Like, they love Jin. They all love Jin, and they're always building him up if he's ever down on himself. Like when he said in that old interview, I have no friends, and they were like, "What? Where are your friends?" Like, they're like his hype guys. So I just know they're going to be in the crowd in the Soul concert, like yelling and screaming and just loving him up, supporting him. And it's going to be great. This is his time to shine. This is his moment in the spotlight. And I hope he loves it. I really hope he loves it. And I just know his stands, the ones that have him as a bias, are so excited for this too. And speaking of the Jin stands, I gotta admit, I don't know a ton of them. I don't know if it's because I just don't attract Jin stands personally, or if it's because they're just more chill overall, so they're not like involved in the Delulu. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I think it has to do with my location too. Like, I'm in the US where it is very heavily rap line biased. I think Jin is popular overseas. I think members have popularity in certain places of the world, depending. But all the Jin stands I've met were pretty drama free, were pretty laid back, just like him. Just kind of like, it's not that serious, and we're just going to laugh about things. Like, we're just going to laugh things off because it's not that deep. That was always my experience with Jin stands, but I've been told that there are like feral, delulu, crazy solo Jin stands out there. I have not met a single one, but it was kind of difficult for me to find a Jin stand to come on the podcast. I had to put it out there and ask, because I'm sitting here thinking, I don't know of many. And the ones I do know don't want to come on a podcast because they're shy or introverted or whatever it may be. So I did have to do a little bit of hunting for this one. I can't deny. I have a follower that said, can I suggest my friend? She is the biggest Jin stan. She traveled over to Korea to see him. She loves him so much. And we got connected and we had a great conversation. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Lita on the podcast, and she's going to talk about Jin and share her song choice of the episode. So join me in welcoming Lita. Hi, Lita. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like I found the perfect gin stand to come on the episode. I'm so excited to have you here, and everybody's going to love hearing all you have to share with us. So, why don't you start off by just telling us your army story and how you found BTS?
I found BTS through my daughter because she kept wanting to go to a concert in LA when they first were doing their Wings tour. And just to even find the shirt was just crazy. And then she, kind of developed and wanted to teach in South Korea. And then I was like, okay, what are we getting into here? And the more I researched, the more I listened to them. And I just saw my daughter really fall into Suga. That's her alt bias. And then I started researching him. And then the more I researched, that's how I got to know each of the members. I was just really excited about the message they sent. And it was not only like just geared towards my daughter, but I saw the age range of Army. And I was like, oh, good. I'm not the only one. So it was good. It was good. Yeah.
Okay, so the Wings era. So
Around that.
you've been army a long time then.
Yeah, well, my
Or
daughter first. Yeah, I just when I started researching, I wasn't really listening to them until they did a collab with Nicki Minaj, and I was like, okay, what? Nicki Minaj? What is going on? That and then Mic Drop came out, and I was like, yeah, I can totally do this. It was good. Yeah.
okay, so that's incredible that you were army and kind of lived Mic Drop and all of those epic things in real time as they were happening. Because Mic Drop is a song that brings a lot of people into the fandom. A lot of
Yeah.
people found them through Mic Drop. That's the song that put me down the rabbit hole. So to actually see that get released, that's amazing. I think you are the most senior army I've had on the podcast so far in
Oh
terms
wow.
of how long you've been an army. So that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And obviously, Jin is your bias. From what I hear, you are just diehard. You love him to death. He is everything to you. And we love that because I'm all about like Delulu, doing the Delulu in a healthy way, right?
Yes.
So has Jin always been your bias? That's my first question. And my second question is, what is it that you love about him?
Jin has definitely always been my bias from the beginning. He is just amazing. And he's probably the one person like I truly strive to be like and try to be a really good person. Like he is so humble in everything he does. And that's definitely a goal of mine when I see him.
Yeah, he's definitely an inspiring person. I mean, you think about the fact that he was not a singer or a dancer coming into this and what he has done to improve himself and have this beautiful voice and this career he's made just from being scouted on the street because he was good looking, basically. Like, that's amazing what he has done. And the thing that drew me to Jin when I first came into the fandom was his love for Army. Like, it was so genuine. Like the first clip I saw was when he's like, "I am the moon and Army is the stars," or something he said. That famous Jin line.
Yeah.
I was like, that is the sweetest. Like he is so appreciative and humble. And it's incredible. I love that about him too. So you have seen Jin live. How have you ever seen him solo, or have all of your experiences been seeing BTS?
Just seeing BTS and then when he did his solos during the concert and so forth. But other than that, yeah, just with
Okay.
BTS.
So what concerts have you been to so far?
I went with my daughter when they had their concert at the Staples Center. Oh my gosh.
Gosh.
Trust me, we've been through this thing and it never gets easier. We do go crazy about BTS for sure. And then we went to Busan for Yet to Come. And then I did go to Festa, but more so because he was getting discharged. So I was really excited for that.
My gosh. You went to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. And that
Wow.
one itself was crazy just because my family are huge sports fans. So I was super excited to really go there like, wow, look at Rose Bowl. This is so cool. When
Yeah.
we went for BTS, it was a totally different level. I was like, yeah, there's nothing compared to this for sure. And just meeting some of the parents as well. There was a grandfather there who was like, my daughter graduated from high school. I asked her if she wanted a car and she said no. And instead she said she wanted a ticket to each BTS show. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I never heard of that. Sorry. And he was like, yeah, we've gone to every concert that BTS has. We're still on the road.
There are people that make this a lifestyle. I'm watching some people that definitely for Yoongi's tour and definitely for Hobie's tour that are going to every single stop. When he gets on a plane, they're on a plane, following to the next city. I can't even imagine the financial investment it would be to follow them on tour. I mean, I did that when I was younger. I would just like go to 4, 5, 6 shows in a tour, but like BTS, one concert, you could be spending $1,200, $1,500 easy.
Easy.
Wow. Oh my gosh. So tell me about Busan. What was that like? You went over there. That's one of the most epic concerts that we all know. And what was your experience like?
So that was our first time going. It was October and we flew into Seoul, and my kids and I, we were there for 2 weeks. And then my daughter actually got to go. Actually, she went to the concert. My son and I stayed outside because they had a little outdoor concert. My daughter was actually the one that went in, and it was wow, it was just amazing. It was a big culture shock for real, for sure, for sure. We took the train to Busan, which is funny in itself. If there was one thing that got me scared, the Naver server crashed and the Kakao taxi, everything crashed. So we almost got kicked out of our taxi because I couldn't speak Korean. I couldn't tell him where we were going. Like, we got in the car, packed the car, and the guy was literally taking out our luggages. And then I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So luckily I was able to get a hold of somebody and they were able to translate everything. We got there and then it was fun. It was just really nice. We got to the concert. Everybody was super nice. It was hot. And I live in
Yeah.
Arizona and it was super hot for October. I have to give it to them because they go all out, like just everywhere with the posters, the buses, the signs. People were giving out signs and there were all these photo ops. But the arena itself, I was lucky because I had ordered everything on the app on Weaver. So I had a QR code. So I went straight up and picked up our stuff because that line wrapped around the whole stadium 3 times. Just trying to get
3 times.
3 times. And they had people like, oh my gosh, so many workers, and they were trying to get everybody in
Wow.
order. It was just, and you could hear them practicing and everybody was screaming. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Even though my daughter went in and I was outside with my son, and at the time he wasn't a BTS fan, he was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? And it was just huge. It was huge. And it was just amazing. The amount of people from all different countries and just everybody singing and everybody just in unity. So it was beautiful. And then just all the activities that were going on. Oh my gosh, that country definitely loves BTS for sure.
Yeah, it kind of just reminds me on a much bigger scale though, but what they did in Vegas, how Vegas everything turned purple and everything was BTS, the strip was purple, but like in Korea, just like times a million the way they do it over there. But that felt like a massive pilgrimage. Like when that concert happened, everybody from all over the world was like, we are going to rush Korea and we're all going to go there. And there was such anticipation in the air, because at the time we didn't know about the military enlistment, what was going to be happening. I think a lot of us were like, oh, they're going to do this concert and they're going to get exempt because it's going to prove that they bring so much tourism and money to the country. Like that's what was being said. But then the Busan concert happened. It was amazing. And then like 2 days later or something, they announced their plans to enlist. So it was like we were up on this high and then brought us right down to the low. And I'm sure you felt that. If you were in Korea and you felt that amazing energy, just to be hit with that news, like, oh, you're gonna
Yes,
enlist.
it was. And just knowing Jin was the first one to go, it was so heart wrenching for sure.
Couldn't imagine it being my bias being the first one going in. Like that must have been so scary for you because none of us knew what this was going to be like. We didn't know that we were still going to see them and they were still going to post online every now and again and things like that. Like at least in my mind, I was like, he's going to enlist and we're not going to see his face for 18 months. And that was like a horrible feeling. I cried and cried and cried when Jin enlisted. I'm sure you did too.
Oh yeah, yeah. When we were in Busan, we stayed in the soup where they had like way up in the mountains when they were shooting there, and it was just surreal. So when they all announced that they were going into the military, made that moment like, oh my gosh, why? Why did they have to do it? Was crazy
It
for sure.
it was a roller coaster because we were shocked, and then we were crying, and then we were angry. There was this period of being angry, like, really, BTS should not have to do this because XYZ, and we were just mad about it. And then you kind of roll around and you accept it. And we accepted it, and it just feels like yesterday that Jin enlisted, but it also feels like forever ago. Like, it's such a weird feeling. I still cannot believe that two of them are out and like we made it this far and we're 2 months away from the rest of it. Like, what? That just at the time they announced it, it felt like it was going to be the longest 2 years ever. Like, we're just not going to make it through.
Yes, yes.
And here we are. And here we are. We did it. So Jin, when he came out and he jumped right into doing Happy, I don't know about you, but like I thought that was going to be his only album in this period. Did you expect that he was going to drop a 7-track album?
I guess just from a mom's point of view, I'm just happy for whatever they
Yeah.
give us. I'm just excited. But for sure, when he came out with this, I was like, what's happening? What's happening? And I went crazy. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to get more albums. I'm going to give them out. I'm going to like, I was even planning a listening party at my house. I was even planning a cup sleeve. Like, I was like, I'm going to go out. Like, we have to stream this. Like, I was like, I'll even get a billboard if I have to. You guys have to stream it. We're going to do it because he deserves it.
And he was so under wraps. And like, here I am thinking, okay, he did Happy. And now he's just like chilling. He is enjoying his time. He's relaxing. No, he's recording a whole album and planning a tour. Like, what? I never saw it coming just because we know that Jin is more of the introvert, you know? Like, I thought that he was going to be like, okay, I did my album. Now I'm just going to wait for my brothers to get back
Yes.
and we're going to do this together. Like, that's what I thought. But I'm so proud of him for pushing himself to do this. And I feel like even this release is even bigger because he even looks different. Like, he's wearing the leather. It's like a rock vibe. It's
Yeah.
amazing, actually.
A totally different side of him that I think we've all never seen. So I'm super excited to see where he goes with all of this. And it amazes me. And I think just like everybody else, because we're actually seeing them for who they are and where they wanted to put their music or what kind of music they wanted to put out. Like, it's who they are. Like, they're finally getting to be who they are. And
yes.
I'm loving it. And this whole thing with Jin, I'm just like, I'm not kidding you. I'm holding on to the seat and just like, okay, where are we going? I'm holding on tight, but just be careful with me.
Like, I'm ready for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like all the members are following this pattern of they do their first album just to get it out there, to get that release out. But the second release, they're like getting comfortable now. RM did it, Hobie did it, Jimin, like their second album was the one where they're like, okay, like now I'm going to really show you what I got. And that is what I think is happening with Jin. I've been waiting for this personally. We love the side of Jin that is like, you know, silly, and he's like the honorary maknae and all of this. Like, that's just his charm, right? But like, I feel like we're gonna see this mature rock side that I don't know if we're ready for. I don't know if we're ready for it, to be honest with you. It's gonna be a lot.
I think so too. I don't know what to expect.
So you're in Arizona. Are you planning to go to the tour? I imagine you are.
Yes. Yes. I am nervous.
Do you know which city you want to go to yet?
I think just be logistically, it would be Anaheim, and it'd be like, okay, that one for sure I can make it to.
This is what we do when they announce a tour. We pack our stuff and we get on planes or we drive and we travel there. We don't have the luxury of them coming to all of our cities. You have to travel. It just comes with the territory. That's why I always say I'll never leave. I live in the New York area and I will never leave as long as BTS is a group because I know that they're going to come here. Somebody's always going to come here. So I'm like, I'm staying right here until they retire. And when they retire, then I can move somewhere else because I can't miss it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing to what this is. I really don't know what to expect, but I think it's going to be great. I cannot wait. Okay, so song choice of the episode. I asked you to choose a song that was one of Jin's solo songs or was an OT7 song that you felt he really shined in. So why don't you tell us your song choice of the episode?
The song I chose was Astronaut, just because it was for Army, and I think that just really hit home because that's when he was going into the military. And so it was like, okay, he's not going to forget about us. And I only listened to it for about a week and then I stopped because I just, oh my God, probably just like every other Army, I couldn't listen to it anymore. Would start crying and my son was like, okay, that's enough, mom, like that's enough.
Yeah, Astronaut, I absolutely agree with that. I remember when it came out, I went to see Coldplay in the movie theater when he was the guest and he performed Astronaut. So I saw that performance in the movie theater. I think it was live actually. Like it was a live stream of it in the movies. And I remember driving home at night just bawling. I was just sobbing because it was gut-wrenching because it was a goodbye. It really was a goodbye that he was giving us. It was a beautiful send-off. And I actually didn't listen to it a lot either. I didn't really listen to it a lot while he was enlisted because it kind of brought up those feelings, right? And but I'll say when he came back after he discharged and did his little event and he came out and sang it, it was like that full circle moment. Oh my gosh, we did it. He's
Yeah.
back. But we really have been through a lot as Army in these past 2 years. Lots of ups and downs and just so much content and all of these solo adventures. Like it's been a lot. And I feel like it's going to be so emotional when they are back together and we see them as seven again. And we just have that like realization, that epiphany, no pun intended, that we made it. Like we made
Yeah.
it. So yeah, Astronaut, I'm a huge Coldplay fan. I have loved Coldplay since I was little, and I've been to their Music of the Spheres tour. To me, Coldplay is the only artist that competes with BTS in terms of arena tour. Like, Coldplay knows how to throw an arena tour, just like BTS does. So, starting with My Universe, I thought it was like the most perfect collab. That's is just the best. And you also mentioned to me that Epiphany is another one of your favorite songs by
Yes.
Jin.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's a popular one.
The thing I love about Jin, he's somebody I really aspire to be. And when I really did start getting into BTS, I really started listening to a lot of his words and his songs and so forth. So I would say him and Sugar, are like, how do I say it? I love that Sugar made it known, like, his mental health and what to do. And Jin was like, yeah, it's okay to be like this. So when I was listening to his song, it really, I started seeing a therapist and then it just kind of went from there. And it was just really personable to me, just like anybody else, just because at the time, I think because my kids were teenagers and my main goal was I think I told my therapist, I said my number one goal is to have my kids trust me. And I talked about BTS and so forth. And she was just like, okay, we can get there. We can get there. And just to go into therapy and change your mindset and your mental state and the way you think and everything. When I'd have a bad day, that's all I would listen to. Like, okay, I can do this. I can move forward. Most of the time, I really try to mimic him and just listen. Like that, if
Mhm.
anything, that would be my biggest thing is just to listen. And I've met so many Army and just talking and listening to some of the things that they're going through. A lot of them, came up and told me their personal stories and where they want to be when BTS gets out. And they're like, I have a timeline because by the time I get there, I'll be okay. And it's a really huge thing, especially like I said, the age range is, I'm 47, so I look at a lot of people and I'm like, wow, and it's just amazing, and the amount of Army that are willing to help each other get where we need to go is just, it's amazing. It's just this
Mhm.
fandom is amazing.
Absolutely. BTS finds you when you need them the most. Most people are going through a really hard time or kind of stuck in a rut. And it really is amazing how these men inspire us to be better people. Like they inspire us. And what you said rings true. I've talked to people who are like, I have a weight loss goal. I want to get healthy by the time they come back. People set these goals because they are inspired to be better for them and because of them, which is really beautiful. It's quite quite amazing. And it's kind of inspiring to show that you can reinvent yourself too. This idea of what Jin was, kind of the role he played in BTS. I mean, let's just be honest. He's always the one that kind of stands back and kind of lets the other members in the forefront. He's the listener. He's that guy. But I'm excited for him to have his spotlight moment and be out there up in the front and show us the stage presence and everything that he has. And that's been the great thing about all of these tours that have happened too. I think J-Hope was similar. The tour was a chance for us to show, oh, that's what you've been holding. You've been holding all that back. So yeah, I thank you for coming on and chatting with me. I need to meet more Jin stans that are just like giddy like you over him. Like when I've met a Jin stan, they're usually pretty chill. Like, I'm a casual fan, but no, I see that you are no casual fan. So you're my type of person. You're my people. I can't wait to watch you just go crazy over these releases and what's going to happen. I can't wait to see your reaction when his album comes out. You might have to come back once his tour rolls out and I do a tour recap. You might have to come back on and talk to me about it. So I will definitely tag your handle in the description so people can follow you and follow along the things that you do. Thank you again for coming on and chatting with me. And it's been fun.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm sorry. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous.
Don't be nervous. You did great. And it's going to be perfect. And everybody's going to absolutely love you. I hope you enjoyed our 8th episode of the podcast, all about Worldwide Handsome Jin. So to join in on the excitement and follow along with Jin, follow me at Jackie in the Soup or the podcast at Talk Bantan to Me Podcast. Once again, I'm going to poll on Instagram and see who you want to talk about next. What's it going to be? I think it's going to be Yoongi. That's my prediction. But regardless, I'm excited to see what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks. I'm sure we'll have a lot more to talk about with Jin, and I can't wait. Borahae.